Okay, g'day everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Dan. This is my little offsider Spencer. Hey? And today we want to show you one of our latest gadgets and probably one of our greatest gadgets we've bought since we've had this little motorhome. Now, I won't leave you in suspense any longer. Let me show you it. This is the Bluetti Elite 200 V2, which has a lifespan of 17 years or 6,000 cycles according to the Bluetti website. Okay, this little parcel comes from Bluetti Australia. It's a portable power station run by lithium Life PO4 batteries, which are the safe lithium batteries. We often travel off-grid, and we've bought this little device so that we can have the comforts of living on the grid while we're away off the grid. If after watching this video you're keen on buying your own Bluetti product, then jump onto their website www.bluettipower.com.au and check out their wide range of power stations and accessories. Okay, so this is our Bluetti Elite 200 V2. I think V2 refers to version 2. Okay, so just giving you a little rundown. To turn the little unit on, we just press the middle button here and you'll see the display screen pop up. Starting from the top, we've got a DC input. This is where you plug your solar panels into, or where you can plug your DC to DC charging cables into. Right below that, there's a 12-volt socket for any 12-volt bits and pieces you have. It also has USB-C, USB-A and another USB-C connection. You simply press the button on the left for DC power and the button on the right for AC power. You can have both going or one going. Directly beside that, you've got two 240-volt power points to plug in any 240 appliances. Moving around to the side, you'll see this is the plug for the 240-volt charging cable. I just plug that in here. If I'm at a 240-volt site or back at home, I can plug it in and recharge. And apparently this little gadget recharges in about an hour and a half from 0 to 100%. Over here we've got an earth state connection, and here we've got a reset button. Okay, so the Bluetti has 6 little readings: DC in, DC out, AC in, AC out, percentage left, and hours calculated for any device you've got plugged in. And for the record, you can plug into an appliance while you're charging the Bluetti. I was originally after the model before this. Before this one came out, I looked at the model before this and I was very impressed. And I'm lucky that I procrastinated because this little guy came out. Now this little guy, compared to the model before it, this provides 2,600 watts of power. And it does say in the instruction booklet that it supports a resistive load of up to 3,900 watts. We wanted this model. There are bigger models with higher capacities, but I've only got a little Jayco Conquest motorhome. This is the RM 20.5. Now, was it the Elite 200V? I found it was as big a capacity as I wanted to go, yet still small enough to fit comfortably in this little van. Now, it looks like it almost fits under the lounge on the passenger side of this little motorhome, but it's very awkward getting it in and out. And I was always a little bit concerned. I was a bit concerned about ventilation under there, so I wasn't really committed to putting it under the lounge. I think that this little guy will live in between my 2 front seats, and maybe I'll make some sort of strapping or little bracket there to hold it there. If it doesn't live there, I'll probably end up putting it under the table directly behind the passenger seat, because I think that's one of the areas where when Deb and I are sitting here, we don't usually snuggle right up to this very end behind the seats here. So that will probably sit there. It'll be out of the way. And I intend to run it, as I mentioned earlier, I intend to run this inside the van so that if we pull up somewhere and stay the night, we can, if it's pouring around the next morning, we can simply just wake up, unhook the Bluetti from its power and drive off without having to go outside, which is a massive advantage. As I said before, it's so good compared to the petrol generators. It makes almost zero noise. When you've got the air conditioning on, and that's what I'm going to do in a minute, you can hear the air conditioning over the Bluetti. Another good find with the Bluetti is that it runs off an app on your phone. So if it's under the table or in between the seats, I don't need to stick my head around to see how many percent the batteries have got left, or see how much power it's drawing, or how much power it's putting in. I can just simply open the Bluetti up on my phone and I can see it all from there at any time. Okay, resistive loads and 2,600 watts. What does that all mean? I don't know really. So what I wanted to do today was to show you exactly what this guy is capable of. I'm going to go around this van and even my house and plug in all my electrical devices, toasters, kettles, hair dryers, air fryers, sandwich makers, and see just how long this guy can make these appliances work and for how long and what percentage of battery they use. Okay, now the reason why I've gone this way, this is a battery operated power station. It's got the lithium PO4 batteries, which means they're the safe lithium batteries. Unlike the lithium batteries that you'll see in mobile phones, laptop computers, and even e-bikes, where they're just lithium, this is the safer one. So if you use the correct charger and you use them for the function that they're designed for, this particular item is a lot safer than just the bare lithium batteries. I know my day job as a firey, we do have lithium fires, particularly e-bikes, people that crash their e-bikes and split the batteries or drop their mobile phones or drop their laptops. And that's one of the dangerous things about lithium batteries. You can drop your laptop or your phone or crash your e-bike and you'll leave it and you'll see, oh, is it okay? And it'll be okay. But then often heat can start generating and a fire may not start until about 48 hours after the damage. So you've got to be very careful with those. But anyway, this is the safe lithium. This is the Life PO4 one. So they're safe. In our old caravan, we had a petrol-driven generator, and I was very impressed with it. It was very quiet. It did the job well. It ran our air conditioner, it ran our microwave, and all our other bits and pieces. But petrol-driven generators is that a lot of national parks you pull up and you think, oh, here we go, nice little spot, and there'll be a sign, no petrol-powered generators allowed. And even if you do go to some campsites where they are allowed, the problem with petrol-driven generators is naturally you've got to have them outside the van, and you can never really run them right beside the van. No matter how quiet they are, they're not quiet enough to have running beside your van. So you've usually got to run 30 metres of cable out and then padlock them to a tree so they don't get pinched. But again, they're going all night, and unless you're the only one there, you'll wake up and you'll see either your petrol generator is missing, it's damaged, or you'll be getting death stares from the other campers that were also camping in your area, which you don't want. Another main disadvantage with petrol-driven generators is that they have to be outside. So you'll set up, you'll run your 30 metres minimum of extension cord, you'll run your generator, you have to refuel it out there, start it up and come in for the night, go to sleep, and you may wake up the next morning and it's pouring rain, but you've still got to go out there. So we roll up all your extension cords, shut your power off, and come and put it back in the van. Whereas these little guys, this little Bluetti, I intend to leave it inside the van. It'll charge as we're driving. I've bought a DC to DC charger, or they refer to it as the charger one. So as I'm driving, it'll recharge that thing, and I expect that the next day when we pop Bluetti itself, I think we'll get it down to about 75% on average, and by driving the next day, I think it'll be 100% by the time we get back. I think it's it takes about, if you drop it down to about 60-70%, as a very rough guide, about 4 hours of driving will top it back up to 100% again. The reason I chose Bluetti too, I did shop around and I looked around at all the other brands, but I found Bluetti had the best bang for your buck. As I said, this is a 2,600 watt, and I got it on special for just under 2,000. I think it was $19.99. And comparing that to all the other brands, to have the equal amount of output, I had to spend quite a bit more money. Reading all the reviews on Bluetti, they were all quite positive. Okay, so I've just measured it. 34 centimetres high, 36 centimetres long, and 25 metres wide. As I said before, it's what they said is in the booklet that it's actually 40% smaller in size than the previous model, which had a slightly lower output. Another point that I want to raise is that originally I was looking at, and I've seen a lot of other vans do this, they put more solar panels on top of the van, they upgrade their battery system and put 2 or 3 more the safe lithium batteries inside. They get DC to DC chargers. They buy inverters, 2,000 to 3,000 watt inverters, as well as control panels. And as far as I know, my research has said that you're looking at about $10,000 or more to get all that done. Admittedly, Bluetti won't have as much power as what some of the vans hook themselves up. They'll have 3,000 watt inverters and up to 400, 500, 600 watts of lithium batteries. But I think the little Bluetti is good because I can take it away in my van, but also when I come home, if there's a blackout at home, I can actually pick it up, remove it. It's about 20 kilos from memory. I can walk it inside the house, run my TV, my kettle, my toaster, all the bits and pieces that I run in here. I can run that in my house, and also I can lend it to my son. He's got a little VW transporter that he goes camping in. But if I ever decide, and there's no thoughts at this stage, but if I ever do decide that I want to upgrade this van or get a newer one, I can simply just take my Bluetti out and plonk it in the new van, and away we go again. Now, probably about 80 to 90% of the time, Deb and I go away and we've got powered sites. And when we do that, we're very comfortable. And sometimes on the way up, if we're going up the coast or down the coast, we'll often stay at beaches, boat ramps or harbours or even rest stops. And we do have the AGM battery in here, and we've got a solar panel on the roof, which means we can run our lights, we can run our water pump, we can turn our radio on, we can even watch TV. So we can get by, but the Bluetti allows us to use other appliances like our kettle, our toaster, Deb's hairdryer, hair straightener, our little sandwich press, our little blenders. So there's a lot of little appliances that are nice to be able to use on 240 volt. Admittedly, we can do a lot of those things. We can cook on gas. I've got a little battery powered blender there. I've even got a little coffee machine, my little Bellman that you run off the stove. But you're using your own gas. And my thoughts are, we've got a few trips coming up. We're going to do a lap around Tasmania. And from what I've read, when you do a lap around Tassie, that's about a 50 to 60% off-grid trip. So to have this little Bluetti, my thoughts are, I will be boiling the kettle, I'll be using the toaster, I'll be using the sandwich press, the blender, probably even the air fryer and the conduction cooker, and I'll be saving my gas, just supply the power for the fridge only. So that will mean that my fridge will run on gas longer. And I know in our caravan, we ran our fridge for about 3 weeks on gas because we weren't using any other appliance. So yeah, the Bluetti will run all our electrical appliance, and the beauty of it is we intend to do little day stops, maybe a 2-day stop, and we'll be driving the next day. So as we're driving, the DC to DC charger should charge us back up to 100%. So it's like you're generating, well, you're generating your own power. So that will make life comfortable. Basically, when you're staying off grid, you'll have all the comforts that you would have if you were staying on grid. All right, so let's put this little guy to the test. I'm going to go up into the house because I've got more appliances up there that I'm really keen to put through the test. Okay, so I often start the day with a couple of slices of sourdough toast, just jam toast, bit of a basic sort of guy. And naturally, instead of plugging it into my house power point, I'm going to be having a Bluetti toast today. So there you go, you can see it's on 100%. I'll turn the AC on. There's my little toast. And this toast is a bit funny. There we go. She's cooking. So let's see. Straight away I can see, it's interesting, you can see the output going in and the percentage. And if I did have it plugged in, and I'm told that I can actually have this little Bluetti charging as I'm drawing power out, I can be charging it up as well. But I don't want to do that today because I want to see what percentage of power my toaster uses. Okay, so my toast just popped. There you go, nice and brown. That's perfect toast, and it used 2% of the Bluetti's power. This is my Breville Barista phone, I think. It's probably one of the more powerful coffee machines around. I imagine it may chew a bit of juice. So I've turned him on, and straight away I can see it's a bit higher than the toaster, 1482 watts. So let's give it a bit of a run. Boil the beans. Just go up a little bit. Here's my cup. I always try a bit of hot chockey at the bottom of my coffees to make like a mocha. So still hanging around that 15 watts as the coffee is extracted into the cup. Alright, still here 1485, and the milk is frothing. What are we on? 96%. Perfect. We're in the red zone. The coffee is done. The toast is done, and the Bluetti finished on 93%. That's with the That's with the toast and the coffee, so I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so I've just used my Bluetti briefly. I did the toast and my coffee, got it down to 93%, and I'm just going to charge it up. Now I'm just going to charge it up by 240 volt at the moment. There's a little 240 volt plug in here. I just plug him in and switch him onto the wall, and you can see straight away that it's charging up again. There we go. This is slowly going up. You can see the little blue line going around. It's at 93 and it's just filling that little bit to 100. It says here it's filling up by the grid. Now, if you're not near your Bluetti, I've also downloaded the Bluetti app on my phone. My devices, this might be a bit too bright. Bluetti, and you can see there, hopefully it's not too bright, it's reading pretty much the same as what the Bluetti machine itself is reading. Got 1200 input AC. It's at 93%. You can see here 1.2 coming in off the grid, and it's also at 93%. Okay, time for another Bluetti test. This time I've got my my little Ninja, and I'm just going to make myself a shake. You just push down. There we go. She's fully made, and wow, yeah, look at that, it's still on 100%. So yeah, I suppose it's only running for 20 seconds or so. It what was that? I think that was about 500, but it didn't even make a dent. Look at that, still on 100%. Okay, so it's dinner time now. I'm just upstairs for dinner. I've just loaded my air fryer with pumpkin and sweet potato pieces. So I'll plop that in there. Once again, plug him into the magnificent magic machine, turn him on, 100%. Now I reckon the air fryer will chew up a lot of power. Put him on AC, I'll make it on 180 degrees for, I think I'll do these in about 10 minutes. So, oh yeah, we can see here straight away, the air fryer is using 2000 watts. There we go. This figure here has dropped right back. We've got 6 minutes to go. Yeah, so the element in the air fryer must have turned itself off because it's already at that 180 degrees. Okay, so I'm just about finished with the air fryer. As you can see here, it's on 80, it's just gone to 80%, and that's been on 180 degrees for 15 minutes. And the pumpkin looks ready. It's all golden brown and soft and chewy. So yeah, that's probably the thing that's used the most amount of power so far, but it certainly gets the job done. Okay, now I'm going to put this Bluetti through its biggest test yet. I'm actually going to see if it will run my, and I hope it does because that's the main reason I bought this thing. I'm going to see if this runs my van's air conditioning. Before I start doing that, I just wanted to add, and this is a little advantage of having a little motorhome, is when we're driving in a cold climate, naturally when we are driving, we've actually got the front air conditioning running, the truck's air conditioning running. So if we're going into a cold area, the van's already warm inside, and if we're going to a warm area, the van's naturally already cool inside. So that means that the Bluetti shouldn't have to do as much work cooling it down or heating it up. But anyway, it's what's it now? It's August, mid-August now. It's a bit chilly inside, so I'm going to put our air conditioning on the warm setting. So there's a little snowflake setting, and then there's little sun settings. And I'll put it on the little sun setting. I'll probably put it at about 23 degrees, and I'll plug the van into the Bluetti, and we'll see how much power it draws and how long it lasts. So as you can see, I've actually had to plug the power lead to the external point of the van. I'm going to run it into the window here. I'm going to crank this window back up so it's got about a 10mm gap. I'll have to get a little weather shield for this later on. So my intentions are to leave the power cord inside the window and maybe get a little bit of rubber or a bit of pool noodle and put it over here, and with the weather shield it shouldn't need any other weather protection and it'll keep the heat or the cool in. Okay, so as I mentioned before, this Bluetti will eventually live either under the table or in between the two seats. But for this demo, I'm putting it on top of the table so that you see exactly what power I'm using. So I've just plugged the side of the van in. Naturally, because this is only it's a 240 volt output, but it's only got a 10 amp plug. So I've connected my little 10 to 15 amp power output converter, and I'll be plugging my van power cord straight into here. Okay, so I've now plugged my van power in. So I've got my 15 amp plugged in here, and it goes around into my 10 amp plug here. So I turn on the AC. It's currently reading at 100%, drawing no power. Now I haven't got the air conditioning on. I just wanted to turn on the AC. Okay, see, even before I start anything, you'll probably see or possibly see, you know, the microwave's on standby, the TV's on standby. I've got a couple of little display units here. I just wanted to see how much power that they draw. So you can see there's a small amount, what is it, 311 watts. And I imagine that's because I've got the microwave switched on, the battery charger on, the fridge isn't on, but there's a little bit of power being used there. But what I might do, I might leave it at that, leave those still on, and see if I can run the air conditioning with those still on. Okay, so I'm going to turn the air conditioning unit on. So that's on 23 degrees. Now, I think that's on cool. That's a little picture of a snowflake. I think this one is the picture of the sun. I'm going to drop that down to 23 degrees on heat and see what sort of power outlet that uses. Alright, so that's on. You can see it's just clicked on now. It's slowly increasing in power. I've got my little stopwatch on. What I intend to do, and it's not ideal, but is if we go into whether it's cold or warm climate, if the van's really hot inside, I expect that I might be able to just crack the aircon for about 15 minutes and cool it down inside. And then if throughout the day or the evening it gets too hot or too cold again, I'll crack it again and see how we go. Okay, so 2 minutes in, I've just put my hand up against the aircon vents and warm air is coming out. Okay, so it's been just over an hour. What's that figure? That's on just under 600 watts. My little Bluetti is at 63%. It still says it's got 2.2 hours to go. And I'll tell you what, I've actually got a t-shirt on here right now. I'm as warm as toast. It's a shame that the air conditioning doesn't have its own internal plug. I've actually got to run the lead out the window and outside the van to run it. But yeah, the aircon is the only appliance in here that you can't just plug into this direct. You've got to go the whole van, and in doing so, you're using a few other power things unless you isolate them. Okay, so I'm now at 2 hours in. Once again, the little motorhome, she's as warm as toast, my little RM 20.5. We're at 40%. Still using just under that 500. That doesn't seem to fluctuate now. I've been in and out of this van a few times over the last hour, and that seems to be a constant. It's not sort of cutting in and going down to zero, but pretty much staying at that. Okay, look at this. I've just clocked 3 hours. The Bluetti, as warm as toast inside the van. The Bluetti's at 18%. It's still using about the same amount of power. It says I've still got 0.8 of an hour to go. So that's about 45, 50 minutes. So at 3 hours to be just under 20% with 45 minutes to go, that's 3.5 to 4 hours this thing will do. I am very impressed. I've just gone down to 17%. Although the aircon's cut out for a little while. So geez, it might even go longer. It's possible that you could get 4 hours out of this thing. I checked the outside temperature today. As I said, it's the middle of August. Yeah, there we go. It's 13.8 degrees outside, and we're a lovely warm 22 degrees inside. So this little thing has really done the job well. I'm very impressed. But you know what? It's been 3 hours. I can see that, well, a minute ago I could see that I probably had another 45 minutes or longer. Now that it's cut out, I'm suspecting that I might even have been able to go for 4 hours in this. But I'm going to switch it off now because I want to recharge it and check out my microwave as well as my wife's hair dryer and hair straighteners. Okay, so I've charged the Bluetti for about half an hour. It's back onto 51%. As you can see here, I've plugged my wife's hairdryer in. Now this is just one of those appliances that I think will use a lot of power for a short period of time. I'm going to put my little stopwatch on here, and I'm going to run it for a minute, and we'll see what percentage it drops by. Okay. And that's on full, by the way. So there we go, that was on 52%. It's now on 50%, and that was just over a minute. So even though it uses quite a bit of power, I think at the very most Deb only has her hairdryer on for 5 minutes. So you're looking at about 5% for 5 minutes. So that's not even a blimp on the radar. Okay, so my second test is my microwave oven. Now at first I thought, oh, the cord's tucked in behind here somewhere, but when I opened my little cupboard, there's actually a microwave cord coming out from beside itself into this little kitchen cupboard. So I've got a tiny little extension lead, and I've plugged him in. I'm going to turn him on for 1 minute, starting, and we'll just see how many percentage points it uses. Now once again, you know, it's a fairly high number here, so it's sucking out a bit of power, 1525. But again, most of our microwave meals we put in for 2 minutes, and even if they're frozen, they're probably only 5 minutes. So I imagine this will be about the same as the hairdryer, so probably 1% per minute. I've got 8 seconds to go till my minute's up, and it's virtually only gone down 1%. So I think that's another success story. Yeah. There we go. From 50% down to 49% for 1 minute. Yeah. One thing I do like, every now and again we do sneak away, and Deb and I have got a couple of little secret places, little secret beaches down the coast that we go to, and they're off grid. And I do like the idea of grabbing a couple of those little healthy microwave meals, you know, the butter chicken and the fried ricey ones, and I like to take those away. But when we're, up until now, when we've been off the grid, we haven't been able to do the little microwave meals. You have to put them in a pot and do it the old-fashioned way, which is okay. But now with this little guy, this little guy, we'll be able to take those little microwave meals, throw them in the fridge, drive to our little secret destinations down the coast, down along the beach there at Jervis Bay, and cook a nice microwave meal in 2 minutes and have all the comforts of being on the grid when we're off the grid. I was going to call it a day, but then I realised there's one more appliance, especially if you're like me using the Bluetti for camping, there's one more appliance that we need to test on the Bluetti. So this is the good old trusty Engel fridge. I've plugged it into the Bluetti. The Bluetti isn't charging through 240 volts. I pressed AC. Now, I'm cheating a little bit because the fridge was already cold. So, it's not reading anything because it's already at that temperature. So she's turned on. I can hear the motor kick in. I can see that it's officially using bugger all power, not even 100 watts, which makes me think this thing will last. Oh, there we go, down the bottom there. I haven't got my here's my glasses. 17.6 hours at this rate. Actually, I even think it runs for about 1 minute and cools it down, then it goes off for about another 15 to 20 minutes. So I think this figure here, you know, like today's. And keep in mind too that I can actually attach solar panels here. So while that's running, especially in the day, the solar panels can be trickle charging this, or I could be going for a drive and that will also be trickle charging that. Oh, there we go, it's been on for about a minute and it's dropped back to 0. But wait, there's more. We often take our e-bikes away with us when we go on holidays. And naturally they drain. If we're off grid, we can't charge them up. They're usually good for a weekend, but if we go longer, I'm a bit buggered. But I've just plugged this little guy in. What's it, just under 200 watts. It says it's got about 4.9 hours of charge left, and that's only at 50%, so it'll be about 10 hours. And I know that these little bikes, I think from memory, when they're about half battery, it takes about 2.5 hours to charge up. So yeah, again, the little Bluetti would more than do the job recharging this e-bike battery from empty. So there's another good little bonus Geez, there's nothing that this little guy can't do. So I give this little thing a 5-star rating. Very good. Oh, okay everyone, that concludes my video of the little Bluetti. I really enjoyed making this video. I was surprised to see just what it could do, especially with the air conditioner. That was really pleasing. You pretty much see that this little guy runs virtually every household appliance easily. There's nothing that this can't do. It's going to live in this van permanently now. I'm going to charge it in here permanently, and it's probably going to live under the table here. I'm very impressed with it. If you've enjoyed this video, please click the like button. It does my little channel the world of good. Also, any questions, as I said before, leave them in the comment section below. If you want to see more of these types of videos, then click the subscribe button. You'll be notified every time I pop a new video out, and please feel free to comment and share. Alright, safe travels everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. In fact, I think the next video will be me installing the DC to DC charger, otherwise known as the Charger 1, so that when I'm driving, this little guy charges up each day. Alright, thanks again for watching. Safe travels.